So I wanted to make this video because Fortnite is not fun right now. Right? We barely have any movement compared to the last two seasons where they went nuts with movement. We got like a continuous rechargeable movement item in the last two seasons starting this chapter. And it's like, what are they doing? They made the game so boring. And even though we have like this new jungle area, which is really cool, there's a lot of depth to it, a lot of density, without like having a sword or something like that, it's like almost impossible to get around. And the only movement item that we have in the entire game, the shockwaves, can't be used in it when you're on top of the big trees that are unbreakable. I feel like you should be able to use your shockwaves on top of those unbreakable trees. They changed the storms last season, and that was like pretty cool. It's like it sped up the game, but we had the movement for it. You know, we had guaranteed spots where the swords were going to be. You could find ODM gear pretty much easily, and ODM gear had like special chests that spawned in the same spot too in certain areas. So yeah, we had a lot of movement. You kind of could guarantee yourself some movement if you dropped in the right spot. And then they took that all away from us. Like, the decisions they've made haven't made any sense this entire season. Let's speed up the storms. Let's speed up the end game. The end game where the storms move a lot and they move very fast. And let's put it in a dense 3-sectioned jungle where sometimes you can't get from A to B, or you're on a cliff and there's no way down, or you have to go backwards, find a zip line, find a special mushroom while you're taking 5 or 8 plus DPS damage just so I can go forward to the zone because I couldn't find shockwaves or I used them all already. Like if you're dying to storm because you can't get down or you have to go backwards just to get to the zone, no one's gonna be happy with that. And you know what? I noticed this from Epic just from the end of last season, where it's just like, what are you doing? Because we haven't had many updates, right? We've had a few updates, and what have they added? They added wall hacks. Thank you for giving everybody wall hacks in the jungle and making an item that's brand new obsolete. They made the invisible obsolete, even though it's like pretty easy to see now because it's like a purple haze. It was just like, let's just contradict everything, right? Let's just contradict the whole thing, our whole mechanics. It started at the end of chapter 4 season 2. Yeah, we had the red eye and they put in the infantry rifle, and this is kind of a good parallel because the infantry rifle pretty similar to the red eye, right? Except, you know, the red eye has a red dot, so it's zero aim all the time compared to the infantry rifle where you're gonna have to wait maybe half a second. The infantry rifle only has 10 rounds and it does like 10% more damage. I think the end one, the legendary, did 44, and the legendary red eye did 40. So it was like a no-brainer of like, why do you have the two of the same guns and there's no reason to pick up one of them? Like, it literally has no benefits. And back to like just a comparison, they brought back a new pump shotgun that has the same mechanics as the current pump shotgun, except it does less upfront damage and it does more damage over range, which is fine. But like, bring in a shotgun that's completely different, right? Bring the Ranger, right? The Ranger was like completely different. It was a very good long range gun and it did a lot of damage up close. You just had to hit your shot, right? But it was just completely different from like what a pump shotgun is. We also don't have any kinetic weapons, even though it seems like a kinetic weapon has been really big for chapter 4. And I know they had the bug where like people were rebooting lost control, but it wasn't even usable in the first place. No one used it because it sucked. I think the build community is still pretty like happy about the game, but like in zero build, it's just like they just took a left turn. Everything that made zero build great that they did, they kind of just like throw it away. It feels like they're slowing the game, but everything in the game was meant to go a little faster because that's how they set it up. Like, they took out movement and they doubled the amount of porta forts. So now we have 4 porta forts in a stack instead of 2, so everyone can use more porta forts, and it's gonna make more players stationary, especially toward end game. But then they moved the zones. It's like in the zone, the starting storms are faster and the end storms are moving and they're fast. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like that completely contradicts itself. But will we be saved by the next update? I don't know. Hey, this is post update Jordan, and this update was actually not that bad. They added the mammoth pistol, which is something I really love. I've been kind of craving that deagle or hunting rifle kind of gun, and this like combines both of them together. It hits hard, it shoots only one bullet, but it's a pistol, but the range is kind of insane. You probably saw it from this gameplay. This gun's awesome. It's so much fun. It feels a little risky because you get one shot. There's also 2 augments that really go well with the mammoth pistol. The heavy ammo shot modifier that gives you more headshot damage, and also a new augment that allows you to recycle your ammo for the pistol, so you have a chance per shot that it's not going to consume the ammo. And then also they brought Futurama now, which is something I kind of grew up with. It was always on Adult Swim. I never was like the biggest fan of the show, but I've definitely seen a lot of episodes because back then, when you had TV, you couldn't choose what you wanted to watch. But yeah, this update didn't save Fortnite, but definitely made it a little better. I think everything they've done was like kind of cool, like aesthetic wise and what they were going for, but they just like fell flat on the fundamentals for Fortnite and making it fun. People don't want to just be standing around in a port fort. They want to be flying through the air. Like, no matter if you're casual or pro, the ODM gear and the swords and the spider webs, they were just fun to use. Flying through the air is fun. Imagine that. Imagine going fast and flying through the air in a video game is fun. And somehow they're just like, let's just throw that concept out the door. And that's what we have with Chapter 4 Season 3.